The emergency alarm rang through the command center of the Human Defense Fleet headquarters on Earth. Admiral Jake Morrison dropped his coffee cup and ran to the main communications station, where Lieutenant Sophie Martinez sat with wide eyes staring at her screen. "What do we have, Sophie?" Jake asked as he looked at the strange symbols flowing across the display. "Sir, it's a distress signal coming from the Kepler sector about 18 days' travel from here at maximum warp speed," Sophie said while adjusting her headset. "The transmission is from something called the Zilani Republic, and they're asking for help from anyone who can hear them." Jake frowned as he watched the alien text being translated by the computer systems. "Have we ever heard of the Zilani before?" "Not directly, sir, but our deep space scouts have reports of a peaceful trading group in that sector," Sophie replied. "They deal mostly in medical supplies and rare minerals with other alien species." The translation finished, and Jake read the message with growing concern. The Zilani were under attack by an unknown enemy force they called the Void Reapers, who had already destroyed 12 star systems and were moving toward their homeworld. Their own military forces had proven completely useless against the attackers, and millions of civilians were already dead. "Sir, should I wake up the rest of the command staff?" Sophie asked. "Yes, do it now," Jake said as he continued reading the desperate message. "Get Captain Lisa Brooks from the HNS Vengeance and Dr. Alex Turner from the Research Division. Also call Commander Ryan Clark from Special Operations." Within 20 minutes, the senior officers were gathered in the main briefing room. Captain Brooks was a tall woman with short black hair who had earned her reputation as one of humanity's best tactical minds. Dr. Turner was a quiet man in his 40s who specialized in alien biology and first contact protocols. Commander Clark was built like a tank and had led marine operations on hostile worlds for over 15 years. "Ladies and gentlemen, we have received a distress call from an alien species asking for military assistance," Jake began as he activated the main display. "The Zilani Republic is under attack by something called the Void Reapers." Lisa studied the star charts showing the Kepler sector. "Sir, what do we know about these Void Reapers?" "Not much," Alex said as he pulled up his analysis. "Based on the Zilani transmission, they use some kind of biological weapons that specifically target non-human life forms. Their ships seem to absorb energy weapons, and they have never left any survivors in the systems they attack." Ryan leaned forward in his chair. "Admiral, what's our relationship with these Zilani people?" "We don't have one," Jake admitted. "We've never made formal contact with them, and they've never asked for our help before now. So why should we risk human lives for aliens we don't even know?" Ryan asked bluntly. The room fell silent as everyone considered this question. Humanity had spent the last century building their reputation as one of the most dangerous species in the galaxy. Other aliens called humans Deathworlders because Earth was such a hostile planet that it had created a species capable of surviving almost anywhere, because it's the right thing to do. Jake said finally, "These people are facing complete extinction, and they're asking for help. We have the power to make a difference." Lisa nodded slowly. "Sir, what kind of numbers are we talking about for this mission?" "The Zilani message indicates that the Void Reapers have a massive fleet," Sophie said. "They estimate at least 300 ships of various sizes moving toward their homeworld." 300 ships, Ryan whistled. "Admiral, we would need to commit a significant portion of our entire fleet to have any chance against those numbers." Alex was studying the biological data from the Zilani transmission. "There's something interesting here," he said. "The Void Reapers seem to use weapons that target specific genetic markers found in most galactic species, but I'm not seeing any mention of them testing these weapons against humans. What does that mean? Jake asked. It means we might be immune to their biological attacks. Alex replied, Earth's evolution was so different from other worlds that our genetic structure might be completely resistant to their weapons. Lisa was already thinking tactically, if that's true, then we have a significant advantage, but we still need to deal with their ship-to-ship combat capabilities. Our conventional weapons might be more effective than the Zilani realize, Ryan added. Most alien species use energy-based weapons, but humans still rely heavily on kinetic projectiles and nuclear weapons. Jake looked around the room at his senior staff. I want honest opinions here. Should humanity respond to this distress call knowing that we might lose a large number of ships and crew members? Sir, Lisa said, if these Void Reapers are as dangerous as the Zilani claim, then they won't stop with just one sector. Eventually, they'll come for human space, and it would be better to fight them now with allies than later when we're alone. Ryan nodded reluctantly. The captain has a point, Admiral. Plus, if we can save the Zilani, it would improve humanity's reputation with other species in the galaxy. From a scientific standpoint, this could be an invaluable opportunity to study an unknown alien threat. Alex added, the data we gather could be crucial for defending human space in the future. Sophie spoke up from her station. Sir, I'm still receiving updates from the Zilani. Their situation is getting worse by the hour, and they estimate they have less than 2 weeks before the main Void Reaper fleet reaches their homeworld. Jake stood up and walked to the window overlooking Earth's sprawling cities. Humanity didn't become the strongest species in the galaxy by running away from fights, he said. We're going to answer their call for help. Sir, what kind of force are you planning to send? Lisa asked. I want 57 ships, including dreadnoughts, carriers, destroyers, and assault vessels. Jake replied. This represents about 30% of our deep space combat capability, but it should be enough to make a difference. Ryan was already thinking about ground operations. Admiral, I'll need to prepare Marine units for potential boarding actions and planetary assault operations. Do it, Jake said. Lisa, I want you to oversee the installation of additional kinetic weapons on all ships. If energy weapons are useless against these Void Reapers, then we'll hit them with everything else we have. Alex was taking notes rapidly. Sir, I'll need access to any remaining Zilani survivors to better understand their biology and the nature of these biological weapons. Sophie established continuous communication with any Zilani forces still operating in the Kepler sector. Jake ordered, I want regular updates on the tactical situation. As the meeting broke up, Jake remained at the window, looking out at Earth. In 18 days, the human defense fleet would face an enemy unlike anything they had encountered before. The Void Reapers had destroyed entire civilizations, but they had never fought humans before. The reputation of humanity as Deathworlders was about to be tested on a galactic scale. The shipyards around Earth became a scene of incredible activity as the human defense fleet prepared for what could be their most dangerous mission ever. Admiral Jake Morrison watched from the bridge of the HNS Vengeance as dozens of ships received final modifications and supplies. Captain Lisa Brooks stood beside him studying the tactical displays. Admiral, the weapon modifications are going better than expected, she said. We're installing additional railgun batteries and nuclear torpedo launchers on every ship in the fleet. Good, Jake replied. If these Void Reapers can absorb energy weapons, then we'll hit them with old-fashioned kinetic force. Down in the Marine preparation areas, Commander Ryan Clark was pushing his troops through intensive training exercises. The Marines were practicing boarding actions against mock alien ship layouts while wearing full combat armor. Listen up, Ryan shouted to his assembled troops. We're about to face an enemy that has never been defeated by any alien military force. These Void Reapers use biological weapons, and they convert their victims into more soldiers for their army. A young Marine raised his hand. Sir, how do we know our equipment will work against them? We don't, Ryan answered honestly. But humans have one advantage that no other species has. We evolved on a death world that tried to kill us every single day for millions of years. Our bodies are tougher, and our minds are more adaptable than any alien species in the galaxy. Meanwhile, Dr. Alex Turner was working around the clock in his laboratory studying every piece of data the Zilani had transmitted about the Void Reapers. His analysis was revealing disturbing patterns about how the enemy operated. Sophie, come look at this, Alex called to Lieutenant Martinez, who was monitoring communications. Sophie walked over to his workstation where complex biological charts covered multiple screens. What did you find, Doctor? The Zilani data shows that Void Reaper biological weapons target specific genetic sequences that are common among galactic species, Alex explained. But when I run simulations using human genetic data, the weapons should have no effect on us at all. That's good news, right? Sophie asked. Maybe, Alex said with concern. But it also means we don't know what other weapons they might use specifically against humans once they realize we're immune to their standard attacks. The communication station suddenly came alive with an incoming transmission from the Kepler sector. Sophie ran back to her post and began decoding the message. Admiral, we're receiving another update from the Zilani, she announced. The situation is getting worse. 3 more colony worlds have gone silent, and refugee ships are being hunted down by Void Reaper patrol groups. Jake studied the latest intelligence reports. How many Zilani are left? Their government estimates about 8 billion civilians on their homeworld, and maybe 2 billion more scattered across remaining colonies. Sophie replied, but those numbers are dropping fast. Lisa was reviewing the fleet preparations on her tablet. Sir, we have 43 ships ready for departure, and 14 more will be completed within 6 hours. The crews are reporting high morale despite knowing how dangerous this mission will be. What about supplies and ammunition? Jake asked. We're loading every ship with maximum capacity for kinetic weapons. Lisa replied. Nuclear warheads, railgun projectiles, and conventional explosives. If we can't hurt them with energy weapons, we'll try everything else humans have invented. Ryan joined them on the bridge after finishing the Marine training exercises. Admiral, my troops are as ready as they can be for unknown combat conditions, he reported, but I have concerns about fighting an enemy that can convert prisoners into their own forces. What kind of concerns? Jake asked. Sir, if we lose people in boarding actions, there's a chance they could be turned against us, Ryan explained. I'm recommending that all Marines carry suicide charges as a last resort to prevent capture. The bridge fell silent as everyone considered the implications of fighting an enemy so dangerous that death was preferable to capture. Alex arrived with a datapad full of his latest research. Admiral, I've been analyzing the Void Reaper ship designs based on Zilani sensor data, he said. Their vessels appear to be partially biological with living components integrated into technological systems. What does that mean for our attack strategy? Lisa asked. It means they might be able to regenerate damage unless we destroy them completely, Alex replied. Half measures won't work against these ships, Sophie interrupted with another urgent transmission. Sir, the Zilani are reporting that Void Reaper scouts have been detected in their outer system. The main fleet will arrive in less than 2 weeks. Jake made his decision. All ships will depart in 8 hours regardless of completion status, he announced. We can't afford to wait any longer. The next 8 hours passed in a blur of final preparations. Supply ships raced between the vessels loading ammunition, food, water, and medical supplies. Engineering teams made last-minute modifications to weapon systems and defense grids on the HNS Vengeance. Lisa gathered her senior officers for a final briefing. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to undertake a mission that will test everything humanity has learned about space combat, she began. The enemy outnumbers us significantly and has capabilities we don't fully understand. Her tactical officer raised a concern. Captain, what if our weapons prove ineffective against Void Reaper defenses? Then we get creative, Lisa replied. Humans didn't become the dominant military force in our region by following standard tactics. We adapt, improvise, and overcome no matter what the enemy throws at us. Throughout the fleet, similar conversations were taking place as crews prepared for the unknown. Word had somehow spread through the human colonies about the rescue mission, and messages of support were flooding in from across human space. Jake stood on the bridge of the Vengeance as the final countdown began. Sophie, open a channel to all ships in the fleet. Channel open, Admiral, she replied. Attention, all vessels of the Human Defense Fleet. Jake announced, today we embark on a mission to aid a species we have never met against an enemy we have never faced. The Zalani Republic has asked for help, and humanity will answer that call. He paused as he looked out at the assembled ships. We go not because we have treaty obligations or economic interests, but because it is the right thing to do. The galaxy knows humans as Deathworlders who survived on the most hostile planet in known space. Today we prove that our strength serves a higher purpose than just our own survival. The fleet began moving out of Earth orbit in perfect formation. 57 ships carrying humanity's finest crews into the unknown dangers of the Kepler sectores. Earth fell behind them. Jake knew that the next few weeks would determine not just the fate of the Zalani, but humanity's role in the larger galaxy. The reputation of humans as dangerous Deathworlders was about to face its greatest test. The journey to the Kepler sector would take 18 days at maximum warp speed, 18 days to prepare for a battle that could change everything. 18 days later, the human defense fleet dropped out of warp at the edge of the Kepler sector, and what they saw made even the most experienced officers gasp in horror. Where star charts showed thriving solar systems, there was now only debris, and Admiral Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the HNS Vengeance, staring at the tactical display in disbelief. Sophie, are those readings correct? Lieutenant Martinez double-checked her sensors. Yes, sir, she replied with a shaky voice. I'm detecting massive debris fields where 3 star systems used to be. The destruction appears to be complete. Captain Lisa Brooks was studying the sensor data with growing alarm. Admiral, these aren't just destroyed ships or cities, she said. Entire planets have been cracked apart and left as asteroid fields, Dr. Alex. Turner was analyzing the composition of the debris. The Void Reapers didn't just attack these systems. He reported they systematically stripped them of all organic matter before destroying what remained. Commander Ryan Clark joined them on the bridge after reviewing the tactical situation. Sir, we're detecting movement in the Zalani home system about 6 hours away at current speed. It looks like there might still be fighting going on. Jake made his decision. All ships proceed toward Zalani Prime at maximum sublight speed, he ordered. Battle stations and prepare for contact with hostile forces. As the human fleet moved deeper into the sector, they began encountering the outer edges of the Void Reaper expansion. The first contact came when 3 alien ships appeared on their sensors, moving to intercept the human formation. Unknown vessels approaching our position, Sophie announced. They're not responding to standard communications, but the ship design. matches Zalani descriptions of Void Reaper vessels. Lisa studied the approaching ships on the main display. "Those things are huge," she observed. "Each one is at least twice the size of our largest dreadnought." The Void Reaper ships were unlike anything humans had ever seen. They appeared to be grown rather than built with organic curves and surfaces that seemed to pulse with their own life. Dark energy coursed along their hulls like veins carrying blood. "All ships open fire with energy weapons," Jake ordered as a test of Void Reaper defenses. The human fleet unleashed a massive barrage of laser beams, plasma bolts, and particle cannons at the three alien vessels. The energy weapons struck their targets, but seemed to be absorbed by the organic hulls without causing any visible damage. "Energy weapons are completely ineffective, sir," Lisa reported. "The alien ships are absorbing everything we're throwing at them." "Switch to kinetic weapons," Jake commanded. "All ships fire railguns and nuclear torpedoes." This time, the results were dramatically different. The solid projectiles and nuclear explosions tore through Void Reaper hulls like they were made of paper. Two of the alien ships were destroyed immediately, while the third tried to retreat with massive damage. "Incredible," Alex said as he watched the tactical display. "Their defenses are specifically designed to counter energy weapons, but they have no protection against physical projectiles." Ryan was already thinking tactically. "Sir, this gives us a major advantage, but those ships were just scouts. The main Void Reaper fleet will be much larger." The human fleet continued toward Zalani Prime, while Sophie tried to establish communication with any surviving alien forces. After several hours, she managed to contact a Zalani research vessel hiding in an asteroid field. "Admiral, I have a Zalani scientist on the line," she announced. "His name is Dr. Keth, and he's been monitoring Void Reaper movements for the past week." The alien voice came through the translators with obvious relief. "Human ships. This is Dr. Keth of the Zalani Science Institute. We cannot believe you actually came to help us." "Dr. Keth, this is Admiral Morrison of the Human Defense Fleet," Jake replied. "What's the current situation around your homeworld?" "The main Void Reaper fleet arrived 2 days ago with over 400 ships," Keth explained. "Our military forces have been completely destroyed, and the enemy is beginning bombardment of our major cities." Lisa was calculating the odds. "Sir, 400 ships against our 57. Those are not good numbers, even with our weapons advantage." Alex was studying the Zalani data streaming from their hidden ship. "Admiral Dr. Keth is transmitting detailed scans of Void Reaper vessels," he reported. "These readings are fascinating and terrifying." "What are you seeing, Doctor?" Jake asked. "The Void Reaper ships are definitely biomechanical hybrids," Alex explained. "They appear to be using converted organic matter from conquered species to build their fleet. Each ship is literally alive." Ryan received permission to lead a boarding party against the damaged Void Reaper scout that was still limping away from their position. He took 12 Marines in a fast assault shuttle and caught up with the alien vessel. "Admiral, we're beginning boarding operations against the damaged Void Reaper ship," Ryan reported over the communication system. "Initial scans show the hull has been breached in multiple locations." The Marines entered the alien vessel and immediately encountered an environment unlike anything in their training. The corridors were lined with organic material that pulsed like living tissue. Strange fluids dripped from the ceiling, and the air was filled with an awful smell. "Sir, this place is more like the inside of a giant creature than a spaceship," one of the Marines reported. "The walls are warm and seem to be breathing." Ryan led his team deeper into the ship, looking for any crew members or useful intelligence. What they found in the ship's command center made even these hardened veterans feel sick. The bridge was occupied by creatures that had once been members of various galactic species, but were now horribly changed. Their bodies were partially mechanical, with alien technology grafted directly into their flesh. They moved with jerky, unnatural motions. "Admiral, we've found the crew," Ryan reported grimly. "They appear to be converted prisoners from other species. The Void Reapers don't just kill their enemies, they turn them into part of their own forces." One of the converted creatures tried to attack the Marines, but human weapons cut it down easily. Ryan's team gathered what information they could from the alien computer systems before retreating back to their shuttle. "Sir, the intelligence we gathered confirms our worst fears," Ryan reported when he returned to the Vengeance. "The Void Reapers are an extragalactic invasion force that has consumed entire galaxies before coming here." Alex was analyzing the biological samples the Marines had collected. "These converted creatures show signs of forced genetic modification," he said. "The Void Reapers are literally rebuilding conquered species to serve their purposes." Sophie suddenly received an urgent transmission from Dr. Keith. "Admiral the Void, Reaper Main Fleet has detected your presence," she announced. "They're sending a massive force to intercept you before you can reach Zalani Prime." Jake looked at the tactical display showing hundreds of red contacts moving toward their position. "Ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we're going to get our chance to test human weapons against the full Void Reaper fleet much sooner than expected." Lisa was already formulating battle plans. "Sir, I recommend we use our superior maneuverability to avoid getting surrounded by superior numbers." "Agreed," Jake replied. "All ships prepare for the largest space battle in human history." The space around Zalani Prime erupted into the largest battle humanity had ever fought as the Void Reaper main fleet closed in on the human ships. Admiral Jake Morrison watched the tactical display showing over 200 enemy vessels moving to surround his 57 ships. All ships assumed defensive formation Gamma. Captain Lisa Brooks ordered over the fleet communication system. "Focus fire on the largest Void Reaper vessels and use nuclear weapons at maximum yield." The first exchange of weapons fire lit up the entire star system as hundreds of ships opened fire simultaneously. Human railguns and nuclear torpedoes met Void Reaper energy beams and biological projectiles in a deadly dance of destruction. Direct hit on Void Reaper command vessel. Lieutenant Sophie Martinez announced. Nuclear warhead penetrated their hull and caused massive internal damage. Dr. Alex Turner was monitoring the battle from his science station. "Admiral, the enemy ships are trying to get close enough to deploy biological weapons," he reported. "But our immunity seems to be holding, Commander." Ryan Clark was coordinating Marine boarding actions against damaged Void Reaper vessels. "Sir, we've successfully taken control of 3 enemy ships," he announced. "The converted crews are no match for human Marines in close combat." The battle raged for hours as both fleets maneuvered for advantage. Human ships used their superior speed and maneuverability to avoid being surrounded while concentrating their kinetic weapons against Void Reaper weak points. "Admiral, we're taking heavy casualties," Lisa reported as another human destroyer exploded. "Under enemy fire, we've lost 8 ships and several more are severely damaged." Jake studied the tactical situation with growing concern. Despite their weapons advantage, the humans were being slowly overwhelmed by sheer numbers. The Void Reapers seemed willing to sacrifice dozens of ships to destroy each human vessel. "Sir, I'm detecting new contacts entering the system," Sophie announced. Suddenly, multiple fleets approaching from different vectors. The main display updated to show reinforcements arriving from across the galaxy. Ships from the Andromedan Federation, the Tau Collective, and half a dozen other species were dropping out of warp to join the battle. "Admiral, this is Commander Vex of the Andromedan Fleet," came a transmission. "We received word of humanity's stand against the Void Reapers and have come to assist." Alex was amazed by the development. "Sir, word of our battle has spread through quantum communication networks," he explained. "Multiple species are sending their fleets to support us. The arrival of alien reinforcements changed the entire dynamic of the battle. While their energy weapons were still useless against Void Reaper defenses, the additional ships provided targeting data and tactical support for human kinetic weapons. Ryan led a massive boarding assault against the Void Reaper flagship using Marines from multiple species. Human soldiers took point while alien troops provided support and technical expertise. "Admiral, we've breached the enemy command ship," Ryan reported. "The corridors are filled with converted crew members, but human weapons are cutting through them easily." The fighting inside the Void Reaper flagship was brutal and chaotic. The ship's biological systems tried to seal breaches and trap the boarding parties, but human Marines used explosives to blast through the organic barriers. "Sir, we've reached what appears to be the ship's brain center," Ryan announced. "There's some kind of massive organic computer controlling the entire fleet." Jake made a critical decision. "Destroy it, Commander. Use everything you have." Ryan and his Marines planted nuclear charges throughout the biological command center and evacuated as quickly as possible. The explosion tore through the heart of the Void Reaper flagship and sent shock waves through their entire fleet. "Admiral, the enemy ships are losing coordination," Lisa observed. "Without central command, they're becoming disorganized and vulnerable." The human and alien fleets pressed their advantage as Void Reaper formations began to break apart. Individual enemy ships tried to flee but were hunted down by coordinated attacks from multiple species. "Sir, we're receiving surrender requests from several Void Reaper vessels," Sophie reported. "They appear to be crews that were recently converted and still retain some of their original personalities." Alex was studying the biological data from the destroyed command ship. "Admiral, the Void Reapers used a central control system to coordinate their converted forces," he explained. "With that system destroyed, many of the converted beings are reverting to their original personalities." The battle began to turn decisively in favor of the Allied forces as more Void Reaper ships either surrendered or were destroyed. The few remaining enemy vessels that still showed organized resistance were quickly overwhelmed by concentrated fire. "Admiral, this is Dr. Keth from the Zalani research vessel," came a transmission. "The Void Reaper forces around our homeworld are retreating." "You've actually done it!" Jake allowed himself a moment of relief, but he knew the victory had come at a terrible cost. The human fleet had lost 15 ships and over 3,000 crew members in the battle. Lisa was coordinating rescue operations. For damaged ships, "Sir, we have multiple vessels reporting critical damage and casualties," she reported. "But the Zalani are sending medical ships to assist with rescue operations." Ryan returned from the boarding operation with grim news about what his Marines had discovered. "Admiral, the intelligence we gathered from Void Reaper ships indicates this was just an advance force," he explained. "There are much larger fleets still operating in other galaxies." Alex was analyzing data from the destroyed command vessel. "The Void Reapers appear to be fleeing from something even more dangerous in their home galaxy," he said. "This invasion might have been an act of desperation rather than conquest." The aftermath of the battle revealed the true scope of Void Reaper operations. They had been systematically consuming entire civilizations to build their fleet and convert populations into soldiers. "Sir, the surviving alien species are requesting a formal alliance with humanity," Sophie announced. They want to establish a permanent defense network with human ships as the core military force. Jake considered the implications of what had just happened. Humanity had gone from being feared outsiders to the protectors of galactic civilization in the span of a single battle. Admiral, the Zalani government is offering to share all their medical and scientific knowledge with humanity, Alex reported. They say it's the least they can do to repay us for saving their species. Ryan was already thinking about future threats. Sir, if there are more Void Reaper fleets out there, we need to be prepared for larger invasions. Lisa was reviewing the tactical lessons learned from the battle. Admiral, our kinetic weapons were devastatingly effective, but we need to develop new strategies for fighting biomechanical enemies. As the immediate crisis passed, Jake realized that humanity's role in the galaxy had fundamentally changed. They were no longer just dangerous Deathworlders to be feared and avoided. Sophie, open a channel to all Allied ships, Jake ordered. Channel open, Admiral, she replied. To all ships, this is Admiral Morrison, he announced. Today we proved that courage and determination can overcome any threat when civilized species stand together. Humanity is honored to fight alongside such brave allies. The cheers that came back over the communication channels from dozens of different species showed that a new era of galactic cooperation had begun. 3 months after the battle at Zalani Prime, the galaxy was a very different place. Admiral Jake Morrison stood in the new Galactic Defense Command Center on Earth, watching ships from dozens of species working together in joint training exercises. The center had been built to coordinate the new alliance that emerged from humanity's successful defense of the Zalani. Species that had never cooperated before were now sharing technology and military resources under human leadership. Admiral, the latest reports show that Void Reaper remnants have been completely eliminated from this galaxy, Lieutenant Sophie Martinez announced from her expanded communication station. The last converted ships were either destroyed or their crews successfully restored to their original forms. Captain Lisa Brooks entered the command center carrying a datapad with the day's operational reports. Sir, the new fleet formations are exceeding all expectations, she said, having human ships as the core of each battle group with alien support vessels is proving incredibly effective. Dr. Alex Turner had been working with scientists from multiple species to develop new defensive technologies. Admiral, we've made a breakthrough in understanding Void Reaper biology, he reported excitedly. The Zalani medical knowledge combined with human immune system research has created a universal vaccine against biological conversion. Commander Ryan Clark was busy training military forces from across the galaxy in human combat techniques. Sir, the cross-species marine training program is going better than we hoped, he said. Alien troops are adapting well to human tactics, and our people are learning valuable skills from other species. Jake reviewed the transformation that had taken place since the battle. Humanity had gone from being isolated Deathworlders to the military backbone of a galactic civilization that now included over 40 different species. Sophie. What's the status of the Deep Space Monitoring Network? Jake asked. All sensor stations are operational, Admiral, she replied. We now have early warning coverage of the entire galaxy and rapid response fleets positioned at strategic locations. The new defense network was built around the lessons learned from fighting the Void Reapers. Human kinetic weapons provided the primary offensive capability, while alien ships contributed sensors, navigation, and support systems. Lisa was reviewing intelligence reports about potential future threats. Sir Alex's analysis of captured Void Reaper Data indicates they were fleeing from something called the Devourer swarms in their home galaxy. Alex looked up from his research station. The intelligence suggests these Devourers make the Void Reapers look like a minor threat, he explained. They appear to consume entire galaxies, leaving nothing but empty space behind. Jake felt a chill at the implications. How long before they might reach our galaxy? Unknown, sir, Alex replied, but the Void Reaper data suggests they systematically work their way through galactic clusters. We could have decades or centuries before they arrive. Ryan joined the conversation. Admiral, that gives us time to prepare proper defenses, he said. The Alliance is growing stronger every month, and our combined military capabilities are improving rapidly. The communication system activated with an incoming transmission from the Zalani homeworld. Admiral, this is Dr. Keth with an update on the restoration projects. Jake activated the main display to show the Zalani scientist. Good to hear from you, Doctor. How are the recovery efforts proceeding? Better than we dared hope, Admiral, Keth replied. With human assistance, we've been able to restore most of the damaged infrastructure, and our population is returning to normal levels. The Zalani had become humanity's closest allies after the battle. Their advanced medical technology combined with human military protection created a partnership that benefited both species. Sophie received another transmission from the Galactic Communication Network. Sir, we're getting reports of a new species requesting to join the Alliance, she announced. They call themselves the Hegemony, and they control 12 star systems in the Outer Rim. Jake was pleased by the continued expansion of the Alliance. Set up a first contact meeting, he ordered the A. More species we have working together, the stronger our defenses will be. Lisa was studying the strategic implications of Alliance expansion. Admiral, we're going to need more human ships to provide protection for new member species. The shipyards are already working at maximum capacity, Jake replied, but we're also starting to see other species adapting human weapon designs for their own ships. Alex had discovered something interesting in his research. Admiral, I've been analyzing the genetic data from all Alliance species. He said, humans appear to be unique in the galaxy in ways we never realized. What do you mean, Doctor? Jake asked. Our evolution on Earth created biological systems that are completely incompatible with most alien parasites, diseases, and conversion technologies, Alex explained. We're not just immune to Void Reaper weapons, but to almost any biological attack from hostile species. Ryan saw the tactical implications immediately. That makes humans the perfect frontline troops for defending against biological threats. The conversation was interrupted by an urgent alert from the deep space monitoring stations. Admiral, we're detecting unknown ships entering the galaxy from extragalactic space, Sophie announced. Jake felt his stomach drop. Are they Void Reaper reinforcements? Negative, sir, Sophie replied after checking her instruments. The ships are transmitting distress signals and appear to be refugee vessels. Lisa was already analyzing the sensor data. Sir, these ships show extensive battle damage, and there are multiple species aboard according to their transmissions. Alex was working to decode the alien messages. Admiral, they're survivors from the Magellanic Galaxy, he announced. They escaped just before their entire galaxy was consumed by something they call the Endless Hunger. Jake realized they might be facing refugees from the same threat that had driven the Void Reapers to their galaxy. Sophie ordered the nearest patrol group to intercept those ships, but approach carefully. Already done, sir, she replied. Captain Stevens is moving to intercept with 3 destroyers and a medical ship. Ryan was thinking about security implications. Admiral, if these refugees are genuine, they could provide valuable intelligence about the larger threat. Agreed, Jake said. but we need to be careful about contamination or infiltration. Over the following hours, the refugee ships were escorted to a quarantine station where their crews could be properly examined and debriefed. The stories they told were even more terrifying than the Void Reaper invasion. Admiral, the refugees report that the endless hunger consumed their entire galaxy in less than 50 years, Alex announced after reviewing the debriefing reports. They describe entities that devour not just planets and stars, but space itself. Lisa was calculating the defensive implications. Sir, if these reports are accurate, then we're facing a threat that makes our battle with the Void Reapers look like a training exercise. Jake looked around the command center at his senior staff and realized that their victory over the Void Reapers had been just the beginning of an even larger struggle. Ladies and gentlemen, it appears that humanity's role as protectors of galactic civilization is going to be tested again, he said. But this time, we won't be facing the threat alone. Sophie was monitoring communications from across the Alliance. Sir, the refugee reports are being distributed to all member species, she announced. Everyone is volunteering additional ships and resources for the defense effort. Ryan was already planning for the expanded military requirements. Admiral, we're going to need to accelerate the training programs and weapons development due. Jake ordered, and send a message to all Alliance members. Humanity stands ready to defend our galaxy against any threat, no matter how dangerous. As the command center returned to its busy routine, Jake reflected on how much had changed since they first received the Zilani distress call. Humanity had found its purpose in the galaxy as protectors and defenders of civilization itself. The deadly Deathworlder Armada that had answered an alien SOS had become the foundation of hope for billions of beings across the galaxy.